Okay. Excuse me, I'm going to read you a little story. This is a book, a Pelican book. The Universe from Flat Earth to Quasar by Isaac Asimov. Very famous person, Isaac Asimov. Russian guy. Russian. 1920, apparently. Anyway, let's have a quick look. I'm not going to read the whole book because there's too many lies to get through, but I'll read a little bit. Introduction, the Earth. In the last few years, astronomers have excited themselves and the public enormously by the discoveries they have been making in unimaginably distant outer space. It's unimaginable. That's a good place to start. Beyond the imagination. Fantastic. Phrases like quasars, pulsars are making headlines. Points of light billions. A billion is used throughout in the American sense of 1,000 million. 1,000 is a million. 1,000 million is a billion. Okay. Billions of miles away. Fascinating. They can tell what's going on billions and billions of miles away. Fantastic. Scientists are wondering about the far past and the far future of the universe. Does the universe extend forever, or is there an end somewhere? Does it expand and contract like an accordion? Really? Like breathing? With each in and out motion lasting billions of years? Oh, interesting. Was there a time where it exploded once? What? I can't read that. That's ridiculous, you know. Well, why would you even ask a question like that? That's crazy. That's insane. Anyway, I'm going to move on because I can't. It's too painful to read this shit. Apparently, we're a very fortunate generation because we've got a bunch of. Anyway, let's not go into it. A bunch of lies telling us a story. The situation is an unexpected one too. The celestial objects that were opening new vistas for astronomers were not known before the 1960s, apparently. The rockets, they don't have rockets, and satellites that are now feeding them so much data were not blasting off before the 1950s, or ever, in fact. The radio telescopes that disclosed unexpected wonders of the universe were not in existence before the 1940s. In fact, if we go back 2,500 years, which we can't because history is a lie, to say 600 BC, we will find that the entire universe known to man, now listen to this, was but a patch of flat ground, and not a very large patch either. That is still all that man is directly aware of today. Just a patch of flat ground and, of course, the sky overhead with small luminous objects shining in it. Nor does the sky seem to be very far above our heads. Now this is the question. By what process of reasoning did the narrow surroundings visible to ourselves fade outward and outward and outward until no man's mind can possibly grasp the size of the universe we now speak of? Or imagine the tiny insignificance of our physical surroundings in comparison with it? Well, those are good questions. How did we get from a flat earth that everybody recognised and knew to, to quasars, for example? Now I'm going to skip a load of stuff and just move on to some other relevant points. If the earth were indeed flat, and an end of some sort would seem an unfortunate and almost foregone conclusion, the alternative would be a flat surface that would go on forever and ever. One that would be infinite in extent, in other words. This is a most uncomfortable concept, apparently. Throughout history, men have tended to avoid the concept of endlessness in either space or time. Have they really? As something impossible to grasp. Well, I know what that feels like. and understand, and therefore something that cannot easily be worked out or reasoned with. Worked with or reasoned about. Well, that's very true. On the other hand, if the Earth does have an end, and it is finite, there are other difficulties. Would not people fall off if they approached that end too closely? Well, not if it was contained, no. Obviously. Okay. Yeah, it mentions the firmament here. The biblical term firmament attests to the primitive, not primitive, permanently, the permanent, not belief, no, it's a belief, okay, that the sky is a firm object, a solid substance, an iron realm, a plasma dome, something. Now, hang on, if the Earth were really flat, well, right, here we are. Oh my goodness, it's difficult to read this stuff, I must admit. Not because it's difficult to read, it's just that I don't like saying lies in my mouth. It's uncomfortable, it doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't resonate. I want to burn this thing. Anyway, okay. Okay. They're talking about how different peoples apparently considered how it might be flat and what it might be on top of and so on. But it postponed only the difficulty. On what were the four pillars standing? On elephants? And what were the elephants standing? On a gigantic turtle, and the turtle, it swam in a giant ocean. And this ocean, where does it stand? Of course, right. So in short, the assumption of a flat Earth, however much it might seem to be commonsensical, inevitably involved one in philosophic difficulties of the most serious sort. Really. Indeed, the flat Earth did not even appear to be commonsensical. Really. If one used one's eyes properly. Really. If the Earth were really flat, then the same stars ought to be visible in the sky from all points. Now, hang on. That's not true. That's not, why does that make sense? It's rubbish. Look, if I'm, okay, can you see that? Not really. Let's pretend it's a disc. Let's pretend somebody's standing over here and somebody's standing over here, and they're looking up, and there's, I don't know, something over their heads, and you look up from here and you see what's above you here, and you can see so far in a distance. You look over here, you can see what's above you in the head, and you see what's so far. You can't see forever. Why would anybody standing on opposite sides of the plane see the same stars above them? Why? It makes no sense. It's ridiculous. It's another stupid statement for stupid people to swallow. Okay, don't swallow it. Okay, Greek philosophers came up with a cylindrical Earth, perhaps, and they said that yet a cylindrical Earth was insufficient. It was the experience of men who lived on the seashore and dealt with ships. I deal with ships. That vessels heading out to sea did not merely grow smaller and smaller until they disappeared into an infinitesimal point, as would be expected, apparently, if the Earth were flat. Well, that's not what you would expect. You would expect it to have refraction and diffraction. That's what you'd expect because of the light, okay? That's what happens. But instead they disappeared while still perceptibly larger than points. That doesn't make sense. Points? What points? And did so hull first, as though they were moving beyond the top of a hill. Oh my goodness. This would be exactly what was to be expected if the surface of the Earth were curved. Oh. What was to be expected? Sorry, excuse me. What is more, ships disappeared in much the same fashion, no matter towards which point of the compass they moved. Therefore, the Earth was curved, not only north-south, but in all directions equally. This is such, I can't even, it's painful. All you need to go is to get one of these cameras, P900 or some other zoom camera, go to the ocean, okay, look at a boat with your eyes, watch it go, disappear beyond your perspective, okay, what you might think is over the horizon, but beyond your perspective, then pull out your zoom camera, zoom in on it, and you'll see it's still there. It didn't go over a curve, okay? It will disappear eventually into its own refraction and reflection, okay? That's how it works. Okay, moving on. Look at this. Can you see this? Can you see this? The disappearing hole. This is what they tell you. It's a big person. It's a very small ball, isn't it? It's ridiculous. It's not what's going on. It's not true. There is truth in here, but there are more lies than truth. Of course. Government propaganda. What do you expect? Okay. Where are we? From flat Earth to Quasar. What a load of bollocks. Earth is flat, by the way. Don't believe me? Don't believe me. I insist that you don't believe me. I'd insist that you go and find the curve of the Earth. That would be fantastic. And then when you do, you can put it on the internet. Let us all know that we can all shut up and go back to our little dream world. Until then, it's flat. Okay? Water is flat. Yes, it is. Thanks.